America is very good at living in the myth of America. You can't train away bias. You can't train away bigotry. He knows that he can step on the line where freedom of speech is, and that the Supreme Court will not slap his hand away.
And those people haven't given Black people reparations. Right. That needs to be addressed. We are living in literal serfdom. This is like a new medieval happening. This impacts everybody in the United States.
They cannot stand us to have anything.
And once they have established this as a precedent, they are going up the chain.
It has nothing to do with the American people.
Nothing.
It is all about power.
All about power.
What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of epic conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations. I just brought a big smile to someone's face, right, just by doing that. Hope everyone is keeping blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Who is me? Me is Dr. Vibe, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care, and being part of that team in 2022 and 2021, reached out directly and indirectly to over 100,000 fathers around the world. And we're broadcasting on June 18th live, Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to fathers and male caregivers all around the world. We are going to talk a little bit about this day and fatherhood at the end of the Epic Conversation. But state of things with Aisha and LaLa, usually on Saturday nights. Couldn't make it yesterday because I attended a wedding, and we're doing this live on a Sunday. Once in a while, we, jog the pattern. So today we have Jill D. Jones and LaLa Key in the house. What's going on, ladies? What's going on?
Nothing much.
Nothing much? Come on.
But lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff. Absolutely. Absolutely. How's the week been?
Busy, and a good busy. Sometimes you can get in bad busy, but I'm very tickled with the things that are happening in the world right now, in my world right now.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Jill D?
Oh, I've just spent a kind of relaxing weekend and reading and, catching up on things and, just kind of enjoying it. The weather's been really nice here, a nice breeze. It's not too hot, so I can't really complain. So
Wonderful.
that's just it.
Let's just rock and roll. Aisha is not with us today, but she'll be back with us when we broadcast next live on Saturdays. Few little things. Make sure you follow the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also, like it on Facebook and LinkedIn. Actually, the last broadcast we did, as I said, 17th on the 10th, whole pile of people watched it. I don't know what was up with that, but a whole pile of people watched it. I know probably one of the reasons why Cinema and Canella shared it out to a bunch of people. So follow, share, do all those things. And also, would you like to join our Discord group? And I want to say cheers, Cinnamon Canella. And today, Jen joined. So people saying, what's this Discord group? What's this Discord group? So I'm going to just show you a little bit of what goes on the Discord group. So this is what you're missing out on. Lots of conversation. It's not filtered, so don't worry. I'm just going to show you just a little sliver here. You can't. I just show a bit right here, right now. Let's see if it's going to come up. Yeah, so this is the sort of stuff that goes on the Discord group. We, people put stories up there. We discuss. We have fun. We have some colorful language at times that comes up, but this is some of the stuff that we're talking about. Some of the stories you're going to hear about tonight. Jill Jones on the Discord site broke a story today that we don't even have enough time for today. It needs its own like at least 45 minutes to chat about.
Yeah.
But this is the sort of stuff that we don't get a chance to talk out in real time. And we also want you to join so you can bring up stories and conversations that we can talk about because of your suggestions. And in between Epic Conversations Live, we can talk about them also offline. So that's the Discord group in action.
I mean, the main thing about that story, Discord is great because it's a great way to sort out, you know, in the middle of talking about that, I was just like, wow, this is big to go in and explain it. It'd be nice for everybody involved in understanding just this connection and why this indictment of Trump was so powerful and why it's so, you've got to really pay attention because all the pieces, even from Mueller's investigation, it's all still there, like little spider webs and stuff. And things that are blasts from the past, you need to pay attention because that might play into some of the things in those documents and things that haven't actually come to fruition. We now know that. We now know that they've done some correlation. New York Times had an article the other day of complaints at one point at the end of 2021 when there were CIA informants and people, our allies, certain people that were being murdered. And so there's a lot to this. There's a lot of hands in here that need to look at it because who have the clearance to, because that's really how Trump probably got away with so much because he knows that people couldn't be able to see this. Yeah, and I'm telling you, and the only person who could have actually helped him understand how that worked was Eric Prince. And all of those people.
Because you know he didn't understand it on his own.
Exactly. So now once you do it, it is like the best telenovela. I'm sitting here like so going, oh my gosh, whoever puts this in a movie, who's going to play who? Because this, you can now visualize the movements. It's like you can visualize it. So yeah, join Discord. It's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah. And like I said, this afternoon, you ladies were on fire this afternoon. It was like full-fledged back and forth. Things are going down. And again, like Jen joined, Cinnamon Canella was talking stories. And there were stories we won't get to today that Cinnamon Canella and Jen have put on. And it was really good. You know, I think Jen shared a further story about missing children in Cleveland that finally got onto the local news that we talked about last week. Jill, you brought that up. So, we're staying ahead of the curve. We're staying ahead of the curve.
And I still have a story that I'm investigating historically, which was when the Jesuits who were here sold 272 family members back in the day to save Georgetown as a university.
Wow.
And what that was all about, that was a dark, dark time for even the Jesuits, but they sold Black slaves, 272, as a matter of fact. And it created let's put it this way. Christianity in America was never for Black people.
No. Well, we won't get deep into it now, but
yeah, it's pretty obvious. Like, really, it's like, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Why?
When they talk about reparations for Blacks, not only should be from the government, but from all the corporations and a lot of, and I'm questioning a lot of churches need to give some money too.
Absolutely.
You got that right.
So there's a whole myriad of things. So that's why you join the Discord group, right? Because we can free flow. And I'm not saying you'll never get banned, but I don't think it's as high a possibility as other platforms. We're not going to mention any of that, so we can have free form discussion. So let's say hello to the family because they all here. It's a Sunday night, but they all here. Jen Myers is in the house.
Hey, Jen.
Hello, everyone. Cinnamon Canella. Happy Sunday. Happy Father's Day. Thanks to both you for joining the group. Michelle Hayward, haven't heard from you in a minute.
Hello.
Thanks for coming by.
Michelle, that's my girl.
You're kidding.
Love you.
You're kidding.
Friends.
I met Michelle. Where did we meet on Clubhouse or some sort of platform in the past? So
she's known about you a long time.
Yeah, Michelle, what platform did we meet on? I'm not 100% sure, but great lady, forward thinker, big time. Black Beauty's in the house. Hey, family, glad to be here with you all. Also saying, happy Father's Day to all fathers out there. Karen D, happy Father's Day. Jen Meyer says, Discord with a capital with exclamation mark. So this is really good. Okay, Black Beauty says the Discord is definitely going to be happening group. Thanks for explaining, Dr. Vibe. Well, I thought it would be best so you actually saw what it looks like. I can talk about it, but saying about it. And if you want to join the group, email me. I'll put my email address maybe halfway through and also at the end so you can join. We want you in big time. Tila says, happy Father's Day, all.
Good to see you. Hi. Good to see you.
Good to see LaLa, Jill, and Dr. Vibe and all in the chat. Thank you. Oh my gosh, lots of people joining tonight. All the President's Men Part 2, Regina Ferris says about what you shared.
President's men, mamas, sisters, aunties, everybody.
Jen says, doing well, Dr. Vibe. Love Discord. So glad I joined. Glad to hear that. Blue Rains. Hi, everybody. Let's see. Yeah, Michelle Hayward, insurance companies, banks, colleges, universities, she knows all these sort of things. And so we already have another conversation topic. This is why you got to join Discord, Tilo. You can get a little deeper with us. Wow, y'all should do a show on Christianity as it relates to everyone, but especially Black people and how it's used as a tool of oppression.
Absolutely.
There you go. There you go. Michelle says, love you too, LaLa. Michelle says, yes, her and I met via Periscope. There we go.
Oh, wow.
And she said she met both myself and LaLa via Periscope. Naileen Prasad, happy Father's Day. Wow. Woo. Wow. I think we can end the show. I'm tired. Karen D goes, Michelle, I was on Periscope as well. There you go. Well, all of you met all these places. Come to Discord.
Yes.
There you go. Come to Discord and we can have one big family, make it big time. So again, okay. Hope you're okay, Jill. Would you like to? And there we go. So if you want to join the Discord group, email me at dr.vibe@the.dr.vibe.show.com. And I have a strong feeling next time we do a show, we'll have at least 2 or 3 more people in our group. I'm speaking that. I speak in that. So there we go. All right. Wow. Whew. What a workout. Okay. Let me exercise. Just breathe. Just breathe. Oh, actually, as you're sipping on that, Jill, you know what's interesting? One of the things I'm involved with, I have a collaboration with BuyBlacks.com, which is Black Canada's #1 online magazine. And 2 times a year, they do Restaurant Week, which is a week where Black restaurants have specific menus and you can order special menus to fix. And a few weeks ago, I interviewed a lady who has Black Jamaican woman who has seafood and bubble tea.
Oh, she has boba.
Bubble tea and seafood. So when you were drinking that, it reminds me of my days of drinking bubble tea, those straws and those things.
This, it's amazing what a cup or a shape or something or a color can do for you. Like I bought this the other day. I've had like iced coffees galore at home because we have a really nice espresso cappuccino maker, machine, and it's just been amazing. And then I've been doing a lot of orange juice with, those nut pods, the marshmallow, and then I put a little ashwagandha in it. And it tastes like a creamsicle.
Yum.
It's so nice. It's like, it just tastes just like a creamsicle. So I'm like, well, I'm getting my vitamin C. And the nut pods are only like 10 calories. But then the ashwagandha, you mix it up, you can shake it up or whatever. And so it's just been really nice to, hydrate. It makes it fun to hydrate because I have last time I was here, I had like 128 ounce had given me a jar or something, and that was fun for a while. And you just need to hydrate water, but make it fun. It's the only way. We need our water and our juices and stuff.
Absolutely. Water. I don't have it here, but I have like a metal 164 ounce. It's minimum 64 ounce. I drink 3 or 4 of those a day of water.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
true,
water.
but it's so funny because I was like, I think your body tells you to. You don't want to pee out all your good stuff either. But when you get a little older, you've got to drink that water before like 3 o'clock in a day.
Or else you're going to be up all night.
My husband told me like walking across the room at least 15 times in one night. Like, where's she going?
Oh my goodness! I want to shout out to Pierre Dubois on LinkedIn. He liked the comment, "All the President's Men Part 2." So we got smart people here. We got smart people. They don't play. So
too bad they're not running the governments.
Thank you.
All right, let's start with our first conversation piece. Speaking about government, the Department of Justice in America seeks protective order to prevent 45 from releasing classified materials amid ongoing. Are you doing yoga? Are you zenning there, Jill? Go ahead.
I'm so happy that Jack Smith did this, because Jack Smith is basically taking charge of the order of the play. So he isn't being passive and letting the judge either move or not move. He is like, he put in a protective order. He has all of his discovery that he's added in. Boom. And I love that he's not giving a lot, because a lot of people I've been hearing speculate that this is going to get delay after delay and it won't be tried until 2025 and then maybe 2026. And that could very well be. But on the notion of what they're doing, because now we all know that the judge, what's her name? Miss Columbia?
No, I don't even know her name, because I don't even call her by her right name. I hate to say it.
We know she has an ego.
She has an ego. She has an agenda.
She couldn't show up the first time, and it wasn't because her roots weren't dyed. It was basically she had to catch up, brief up, and be telling everybody, hey, you got to go get your security clearances. When before, she basically, in the last ruling, when the 11th got a hold of her, they basically looked at her like, girl, what were you, judging beauty pageants? This is like court of law.
Yes.
So, she's been trying to brush up and get herself together, but the reality is Jack came, and she better get used to it, because her clerks better be AIing if they need to, because he's going to be coming hard, because it really stops Trump's people from getting to appeal or make little delays and questions and blah, 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 blah. I'm not saying that they won't do that, but I love the fact that he took the initiative and he is controlling it. And also, a lot of Trump's attorneys couldn't even pass the security clearances.
No.
So a few of them had to bow out because they represent foreign entities, and they're not. And what killed me is that they said, you can represent Trump, but you're going to have to get rid of your foreign entities. And I'm sure one of those dudes was like, no, I have a paying customer, a client.
Right.
I'm not going to risk it for this dude here
who
doesn't pay, So it's going to be interesting. If anything, they should just give him a public defender and let's just keep it moving.
Right. But I love the way that there was an article that we put in Discord, by the way, if anybody is going to go in and read that, is how Jack really laid this out. People were upset, and including myself. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I know the justice system. I don't. Why didn't you ask for him to get slapped with an order that he can't travel? Why didn't you? Well, it would have delayed everything. So instead of him doing that, he was smart and strategic and played chess pieces, not checkers, and made sure that everything needed to be in place for what he needs. This is going to be very, very interesting to watch, because we all know that Trump cannot shut up. He can't. He just doesn't. He never does. He can't. He spills all these lies and spews hate so much that he can't shut up, because that's his whole meaning behind his goals, because he likes people to be, oh, Trump. Everything has to be to self-gratify himself. So in order to do that, he has to come out and speak and have all his cronies come out and try to support him, even with all these lies. So I think that Jack is going to be very interesting to watch. And so far, I'm liking what I see.
Yeah, he seems like you both you said he is a chess player.
Yeah.
He's a real and you don't hear a lot about him.
He
No.
got hit by a truck, guys, from what
Yeah.
I heard. He was hit by a truck, and his way of getting through that quickly, I think within like a couple of months, he had run not a marathon, but a triathlon
Mm-hmm.
in his recovery.
Wow.
He has run 4 triathlons, if I'm not mistaken. He is so. That just tells you how incredibly strong his brain and discipline
Discipline.
he is. It's so interesting to. I think his wife is a creative, like a filmmaker or something. So it's
Right.
typically a cute couple little stories here that there's usually one who's that way, and then you've got the creative outlet, this balance. So I like the fact that there's some balance in this man's life, considering like he is working. Like this is no joke. And to be honest, I mean, all the stuff that I was coming for Merrick Garland about, I get it. I feel like it has taken a very long time, and maybe Merrick finally got it together and got Jack on this. But the reality is, he did pick the best person for this, because this is a person who has the stamina. It's so incredible to know that not only is he physically fit, but his mind is pretty impenetrable too.
So
I think we're just all tired. And that's the thing, when we see that basic everyday corruption, usually people get smacked around for that. And these things that he has done, Trump has done, and we see, and this ain't no alleged, we know for a fact he did, because he's even admitted it, because he's that dumb. It is so frustrating to us as Americans, knowing that it feels like he's getting away with something, and we don't like that. For most of us, we don't. Of course, you got those who thinks he hasn't done anything and is asking Biden to pardon him. Are you kidding me? No, you still got the idiots, but I'm going to have to learn to step back a little bit and kind of trust a little bit more, because I honestly think that they're really trying to go for the jugular, and they have to. You get one shot at this. This is unprecedented, and this is going to set the stage for much more in the future.
So I was going to ask, and Jill, you're reading my alleged mind. Who chose this gentleman?
Garland, I believe.
You're kidding.
Yeah, old Scorpio himself. After all the beating up I was doing on poor old Merrick, but I'm a compatible Cancerian to his Scorpio, so he should know. I'm okay if I'm wrong. That's okay. I'm going to squawk the whole way, though.
Well, here's my question, though. Will we see any movement, though, before the election?
Don't know.
Yeah, I can't answer that.
I mean, I think that it's not just, for me, it's hard, because now you have Letitia James already saying, well, mine is going to go on the back burner and all this other stuff.
Did she say that?
Uh-huh. She said that at the Tribeca Film Festival. She was being interviewed by, I forget who it was that was conducting the interview, but she said that. And so the problem is that, she said that hers and Bragg's will be put back, and so would Fani's, but Fani hasn't done her indictments. But, the biggest thing is all of these people have prosecution, have to worry about their sell by date too, when they expire in their jobs. Now we know that Tish doesn't come up for until 2027 is the end of her run, but somewhere along the way, she's going to be running again, like for the 2026.
Right.
Bragg, I don't know. I mean, so there's all this politics behind everything that everybody's doing. So it's just really strange. But I'm convinced that, I don't know. I don't know. Don't know what to say.
Well,
I think we're all kind of stumped, but like I said, it's stumped in a good way, because it's just things that we just didn't. We were praying that would happen, and now we're starting to see things come across. And he's still doing stupid things, like telling people to come to restaurant and then, being there for 5 minutes and then not paying for the dinner after he said everybody was going to win, but then nobody ordered because he was only there for 5 minutes. And now the restaurant, it's so much drama around this dude all the time. It's
But
quite
that's what
sickening.
he wants. Isn't that what he wants? He wants the attention.
Oh, that's what he wants. That's his attention. That's his superpower. If you take away the press from him, that's his kryptonite. But that's the problem. Nobody wants to take the press away from him.
I know.
Okay. So just to catch up on the air, Regina says, I thought there was speedy trial law in Florida. You're kidding me. In Florida, speedy trial law?
Florida?
That's
Well, I know
interesting.
those were there were key words to this speedy trial concept. And remember, we've got all these pundits. Everybody is on TV trying to say something. And, we're like the only ones not collecting a check to be talking about this.
Yeah.
So in my mind, and not just because these other people are experts, they've got to keep the shows going and keep the information coming and finding laws, or is it working this way or is it not working? Some of them are rusty at like updated laws or whatever. I don't know anymore. I just know that with Trump, it's not a smooth ride. It never has been. It's just going to be incredibly bumpy. Like, it's just been even painful to see, like, the shenanigans that he goes through. And I just think what a draining person he is, even for his family and his kids. Like, he's got a young teenage son. And I think, what a awful, like, do you ever calm down, man, and just be a dad and be with your kids? And gee, he's such a liability. It's like, where, you think of the importance of a father today, and then there's that, and you're like going, wow, he didn't really get better as an old man. He's terrible. Like, maybe he talks to them, but he's too much. All I can say is he's too much. His family needs a break from him.
Well, speaking of that, Milena and Barron, they're not here. He was celebrated his 77th, which they took off. They didn't come and celebrate that with him. So that's telling in itself. But we all knew that she was in it for an agenda anyway. We knew that. And the rumor is that if he wants to run for president, which he is, she renegotiated everything. Mm-hmm. Okay. She's not stupid. She's not stupid. None of his women were stupid. No. They knew what they were doing when they got into it. See, he's so, what do you call it, glamorized by their looks, but these women are smart. These women are not dumb.
Okay.
And they have the real story. They have the real story. And
they do.
Very fascinating to really let these women just breathe.
Okay, so ladies, I'm going to let you continue. I'm going to go off screen for about a minute and a half maximum. I'll let you continue on. I'll be right back, okay?
Okay. And another thing, I want to tell, y'all keep saying things like Biden is too old to run. Trump is 77. I'm tired of old white men running this country. I really am. We've got some real good rock stars coming to Congress that I'm keeping my eye on. And they are really giving bobblehead and three toes a run for their money, because with these ladies coming in and just attacking people in these committees and not even listening, they just come in with an agenda. They don't have anything to listen to what the people are saying. They just come in with threats and everything. And I watched something this week, young Democratic person, can't think of her name right now. I'll have to look. I put it in the group. Aisha actually is the one who put it in the Discord, where she really went toe to toe. She went toe to toe with Bobblehead. And Bobblehead couldn't keep up. She walked out. So we need more people like her.
Okay. I am back. Thank you for everyone's patience. Regina says we're all 45'd out. Regina also says, I like Crockett from Texas. I don't know.
Yes, that's who it is. Yes, that's who it is.
All right.
The girl. Yes, that's her. She's fantastic.
She is fire.
Yeah.
Okay. Hadn't heard about her. So that's why I host these things, to get educated and go on Discord. You hear me talking about Discord a lot tonight for some reason. Tila goes, yeah, Melania is not stupid. Remember, she was on the Einstein visa.
Mm-hmm. The Einstein visa is a very deceptively named they kind of expanded that. It isn't always about brainiac stuff. It actually does exist for people, believe it or not, like models who were considered to have such a beauty that it was not replicated anywhere else. And a lot of people did get that visa. Whether it was like, it wasn't really like, it was a special, what was it called? An HB1, something like that during that time. So it wasn't just that, it was really the Einstein thing was more like, you have something that nobody else has that cannot be duplicated here. And a lot of young models use that visa to come to America. It was a loophole for dirty old men who owned modeling agencies.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But isn't it always about them? Everything is about them.
Yeah. When you look at it this way, when you look at it from even everything that's been going on, Trump basically made it into the dirty old man club of billionaires. And these are the men who perpetrate some of the most heinous crimes across the globe. And they've been doing it for generation after generation after generation. We're now in the position where we're seeing, unfortunately, he decided to designate himself as like, wow. In fact, all the old dirty old men decided, we've got to point our fingers at one or two, and we're going to reverse the game and make everybody think that they're the ones who are doing it. That's what they did, because that we were all getting very close to who they were with their private jets and their this and their that.
And they're all tied in.
It wasn't Hollywood. It was the people who financed Hollywood. It was the people who finance things. It's the billionaires. It's men who go and visit leaders of countries like Bill Gates, having tea with Xi Jinping, and him saying, "You're the first American that's come and seen me this whole year." Those are the people back in the old days when we had some of our old, like Joseph McCarthy or whoever we had before, I don't know. They would have found that to be incredibly hostile, suspect.
Traitor.
The fact that your biggest leaders in global in commerce and business in your country are taking meetings with foreign adversarial leaders. And I hope Bill Gates registered that he went to do it, because our chief of staff has to beg that Chinese man for a meeting. It's like, what is this?
Gates has his own agenda.
I mean, I just want to know with Elon Musk, he wants to talk about trans people when he's got a ex-wife, girlfriend, or whatever who wants to look like an elf. And it rhymes. Get the fuck out of here, man. I mean, really, this is like tattooing herself. I guess they gave her some money and she went nuts with it. She just, let me just inject red dye into my body. Let me just.
Exactly.
It's like this. Just 2 kids of his. Why aren't you? Where are you on Father's Day? But see, this is so amazing. People want to tell other people how to live, and their own filth is out on display. And then they try to, it's nothing. This is the way it's supposed to be. She looks like she's from Elf Quest. Either make the movie or, let's make some, you're a joke.
All right. Let's get away from Elon, because that'll keep Jill will maybe drinking something else if she keeps on talking about Elon. So let's talk. So Black Beauty goes, would they want to jail?
Well, she ain't Judy Jetson. I'm sorry. It doesn't look right.
Hold on. I got to. No, I thought I was going to sneeze. Maybe I will. Okay. Would they want to jail 45? I'd mean have prisoners rioting and causing drama.
At that point, I honestly don't know what they're going to do, because, like I said, this is unprecedented. I see him going to federal prison, but he can't be in Gen Pop in federal prison. There's no way.
All right.
But I think federal prison is like, for him, it's going to be gold toilet. I want my gold toilet.
Yeah.
I don't
my McDonald's.
I don't see that. I think they'll have to give him an exit plan. Exit strategy.
Regina goes, truth, Black Beauty. Wig maniac, how you doing? Jill's gonna flip her wig.
So true.
So let's catch back a little bit.
Don't mess with me in ElfQuest. I'm a big fan of ElfQuest. So to see that being violated just hurts me.
All right. Karen D
Exploitation.
Karen D says, I was on Discord, but I didn't meet anyone. Well, the times have changed.
Welcome
You can
to
meet
the
us-
family.
Karen,
All
welcome
right.
to, I don't even understand how it works. I'm lucky that
But
these
you're
guys
doing
pointed me
okay.
in the right
You're doing
direction.
okay.
Like,
You're doing okay. You're right.
I
Michelle
can't
says,
invite nobody.
Karen. Michelle goes, Karen D, small world. Do you hang out online these days? Michelle says, also, LaLa did one of my first LinkedIn lives back in 2019.
Yeah.
Okay, so you two go back. All right.
Yeah, we do. We were
And
in
then-
Perry Girls.
There you go. And Karen goes, just and a bit of Insta. I'm also on Heckle. I think you mean Twitch. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what is, but I'm not gonna go there. All right. I ain't gonna say nothing. All right. And then let it go. And then Michelle, I follow you on Twit. We had several Pauls in common. Pals, maybe. You guys got to get your spell check done. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna leave that there. Okay. All right. So let's go forward here. All right. So we've got a lot of things going on as usual. So let's move on to our next conversation piece. And I don't have to broadcast Discord anymore because you guys are getting the program. Get on it, please and thank you. Next thing, LaLa's been the driver this week. She brought a whole pile of content this week.
Right.
Several neighborhoods report receiving KKK flyers in Kentucky.
Woo!
So
I can't.
LaLa, tell people your relationship with Kentucky before we get into this story.
Born and raised in Kentucky, and I was the country girl at the time. I lived in Louisville, Kentucky. However, my little city was called Prospect. So we were about 15 minutes, 20 minutes outside of Louisville, and I lived in the country. It was very well known. And when I especially got of age to start driving or whatever, my mother scolded me all the time. Don't you dare go to Bullitt County. Don't you dare go to such and such counties. And you know, when you're a teen, you're like, but honestly, to this day, you need to be careful. These counties now were very overrun by KKK. The Grand Wizards were out there. And if you crossed those lines, no one could protect you. Now they have since died down, but then what happened? We know that Trump got into office and they got their wings again and they took their hoods off and they just walked down the streets and they're putting out flyers and recruiting. Now, what happened next was they came across a parade, LGBTQ parade, and they started really going after them. And instead of the police, which a lot of these KKK people are on, arresting these people and putting them up because they were really physical with these people. I mean, they turned nasty. They let them go. And now more and more counties are seeing the KKK hand out flyers in their neighborhoods. I'm so furious. I don't even have the words because I've actually seen this. I have actually seen a cross burning in someone's yard in my community. So to know that they are out, that's not something you forget.
Yeah.
I was 6 years old.
Yeah,
That's
you
not
don't forget it. I
something
was
you
young
forget.
too. I saw one.
And to see that smoldering and for the whole week and then everybody's quiet because they can't even believe it's happening.
Right.
So here we are again, not that they've ever gone away, but the audacity of them to go to these neighborhoods. I can't. And Cameron is running for freaking governor of Kentucky. He's in bed with the devil already. So none of this is getting better. Breonna Taylor, come on. We still are not finished with her. We're not finished with a lot of things that are happening there. And it's just not stopping. And it's not just Kentucky. It's very much Florida. It's very much Georgia. It's very much Texas. And something has to be done.
Philadelphia. I mean, the woman
Philadelphia.
from Starbucks, she got $25 million when the two men who came in there and were arrested by the police, and she went and sued Starbucks for firing her, and she got $25 million. So it's everywhere, this support, this infrastructure that's being created, but it's very different from the 60s. And they can burn, they better watch whose house they walk up on, because some folks could make it could end up being like a Waco situation on its own, because Black people are not like they were in the 60s. They're going to stumble upon some people, and it may not end the way they think this intimidation is going to work, because, people of color have gotten to the point where they're only going to take so much from what it's pretty obvious to see. I mean, let's find out who killed all those people at the Juneteenth rally today.
Right.
There were 40 people, shot 22. This is just one of several mass shootings we had already. We have them every day in America.
But now you don't hear them as much.
You don't even talk about
because it's the norm.
No, it is the norm.
All right. So Michelle was supporting LaLa, saying, yes, LaLa is Tucky born and raised. And then Karen D goes, no kidding. My family is from Almo, Kentucky, outside of Murray.
Yep. I know exactly where that is.
Okay. Like, wow. This is why I got to join Discord family, y'all family. So
the flyer is in there, guys. The flyer is in our Discord. I know we're saying Discord, but honestly, this is where it's popping. If you want to see that god awful flyer and what they're handing out, it's in there.
I can bring it up right now. So let's just bring it up right now on the screen. So just give me a second. But when I saw this, I went, this is America? Yeah, this is America.
But the only thing that's cracking me up is they're showing themselves in their hoods, but they don't do that anymore. They just walk down your street and let them see the face, So
there we go right there. If you're watching live on the replay, there's a flyer. The KKK wants you.
That just makes me sick to my stomach.
Right.
Left on cars in Mount Sterling, Paris. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's too hilarious. It's too, I won't say hilarious in a bad way, but too sad.
Oh, it is. It's also so old fashioned too. I mean, do you know how easy it is to infiltrate these types of things?
Yes.
But here's something that I really just don't like, the whole concept of, when we were talking about Eric Prince a little earlier, never forget that, and remember, this was a movie. Spike Lee did a movie about the KKK and the infiltration. This was a real case that happened. But like people like Eric Prince, Betsy DeVos's mercenary brother who owns Blackwater, he was trying to get Trump to come up with his own espionage group, his own spies, his own intelligence, and to basically on the ones that we had. And by all accounts, they were pretty successful at gutting the FBI and CIA and doing some really heinous things to undermine their capabilities. The reality is, though, that our FBI people and men and women out there, William Camus or Kamal, whatever his name, they've been doing shows and talking about this tick with the Ku Klux Klan and white supremacists and the brown shirts, because these people have this glorified belief system of Nazism and all of that. And I personally think they need to be on lists where they can't travel. Yes. I think with that real ID, that little real ID that we're all going to have, I think it should have a load of information about you on it, on the disc, everything. And I think that you shouldn't be allowed to go to Europe. You shouldn't be allowed. I think those things should just be even kept quiet while nobody needs to know why you can't go somewhere.
Right.
Don't even tell them anymore. I'm sorry. Right. I'm sick of this nonsense with the Ku Klux Klan. It's absolutely, I saw a cross burning too in Waynesville, Ohio. And it's terrifying. It's terrifying to, once I was walking with my grandmother at a record store in Ohio, and I had come back to visit. I must have been about 17 because I was driving their Buick LeSabre. And we were at a record store, and I went and bought the Foreigner album, and my grandma was with me, and we were coming out of the store, and these boys started calling her the N-word. And I remember her being really like, Jill, don't do anything. Now, I'd lived in LA for a little bit, so I was a little bit different coming back to visit. And I was like, what? So I ran after them, and I don't know what I was going to do. And then my grandmother fell over a parking a parking brick thing. And I still remember going and helping to pick her up off of that with those 3 dumb white boys.
Yep.
Who, the other time I'd been called an N-word, I was about 7 at school, and the merry-go-round was swinging around. You know, there's merry-go-round, and I don't know why we had gravel on our playgrounds at that time. I just don't understand it, but we did. And I remembered grabbing the guy who called my cousin an N-word. And so the how this thing was spinning and me grabbing him off of it, he hit the bricks hard and he had gravel all stuck in his face and everything. And I jumped on top of him and I was punching him as hard as I could. Now, this was a white school that didn't necessarily, in Lebanon, Ohio, that never let me and my cousin in the same classes because she was darker than me. And they never put us in always like different recesses. But this was one day we were, and that little boy named Ricky, I about killed him that day. And once they found out why I was like pushing his face in the gravel, I didn't get in trouble. He did. But his family came. They all came in their pickup trucks, stuff that time. And, you know, so I'm sorry. I just think that it brings back haunting memories for me. But I am here to say that this isn't your mama's Black people again. No, we're very different. Very different now. And it will not. This will, you know, because they've been in the police force. We've been trying to gut them. We saw that the DOJ basically said Minnesota has the most corrupt force of right now in all of America. I mean, they might as well just all turn in their guns and go elsewhere. They're horrible. And the truth is,
Florida take them.
Florida too. And
Florida
also recruitment is down for police in America now. So I say, bring the robots, bring them out and about. I'm okay with the robots because I think a robot might be nicer than an actual white police officer after Black people or brown people. And some of the Black ones have like done some naughty, amazingly wild too because of indoctrination. But I just think it would be safer all around for everybody if there's just like RoboCops. Just get me a RoboCop and I'll be fine. Because human beings are incapable. America has proven the necessity for AI every day. They keep proving it because they fail so hard. Everything is failing so hard. So replace it with a machine as far as I'm concerned. Oh, you want to be that who wants to call people and cuss them out on the phone? Well, AI.
Right.
Oh, you want to be the police officer who just tases people? AI, bye. We'll get a couple of dogs. Oh, you want to be that? You know, this is so crazy because it's such a lost country. Like, if you look at like the politicians, I was telling you guys about a guy who was friends with Kushner and represented people in Saudi and hooked up all that like for those meetings and George Nader. And yet he was the person who illegally gave money to both camps, Hillary and Trump, from foreign investors, basically, who have invested in America. And nobody went and took the money back. Can you please let me know, did Hillary have to give it back? And did Trump have to return the money? Oh, no. They went on and became friends with the Saudi people. And then y'all. I'm telling you, it's deep. It's deep. It's deep. It's so damn deep because, also the kicker is George Nader, having been arrested multiple times for child rape in 1991 and whatever. Nobody seemed to give because, he's doing so much by passing this nasty money around for campaigns. He also just is serving 10 years right now for trafficking a little Czech boy to America and fro for sexual escapades. These are our politicians.
Okay. We gotta move on. We're only two stories in, so we gotta move on. We gotta move in.
Well, Dr. Vibe, I know this is what I'm saying, why there are stories in America. It'd be nice to get on here and talk about really nice things. But when you look at the filth this place was built on and the filth it continues to suck on, it's not just, it's like, and the fact that we have to sit and tell people, explain to them about Donald Trump and his supporters don't even have the intelligence to read the indictment?
No, they won't. They won't.
Because they're cowards or they're illiterate. I don't know which is which.
Both.
And then
We got several camps within his followers.
Can we please, like South Carolina Representative Nancy Mace, can somebody sue her can Joe Biden sue her for defamation? Because the reality is, basically, y'all calling Biden the Biden crime family. He's got a drug addict son. Let's dig in Nancy's family. What drug addicts or things are going to fall out of her tree? Because the reality is, what family in America doesn't have somebody who's been a drug addict? We're all crime families. This is what's making me sick. Biden needs to sue her and start making these that Pirro woman judge whose husband was such a freak he had to be pardoned by Trump, buying favors. Now we know he paid close to $2 million for that because he and Giuliani sold that. And the craziest thing is, we want to talk about the court case to indict him. What about all these other court cases? Eric Prince needs to be tried on the simple fact that he was trying to sell arms to Libya, and Austria had to catch him and prosecute him. Why didn't American prosecutors do it? Why? Because they don't. There's too many cases. Because there's too many
cases. Too many cases going on. Too many fires.
All right, so let me catch up here in regards to a whole bunch of things. So Michelle says I got to catch up. We got a lot of catch up. Karen D says, I followed you back to, I believe, Regina. And Wigman says, I'm on Discord too. Thank you. Karen D chuckled, I think, about some verbiage I used a little bit earlier. Black Beauty, LOL, spell check, Dr. Vibe. Yes. We got this. Got to catch up here. Okay, Karen D says, thank you, Michelle. As you see, I'm a complainer on Twitter. Well, you can come complain on Discord too. Tila, this hateful disease rears its head in the Bay Area. President Drake of UC Cal recently had a racist graffiti sprayed on his Berkeley home. Karen D also says, I agree about the list and a Karen going crazy like no-fly list.
Yeah, forever.
Regina,
you got to take a Greyhound.
Green. Okay, all right. I'm not going to get through this at this rate today. All right, let's see who's going to push on. I'll leave the link and I will join. I will do that in just a moment. Karen D says, we all have AI dogs in New York cities, and I haven't seen one yet.
Saw one here in LA.
Regina
Did
says,
you?
Jill says, Regina says, Jill, maybe you should read Fahrenheit 451 again. No robo-hounds, very evil and scary. And what do you think? And who do you think is going to program them?
Good
and
point.
then Regina says, some 45 supporters running around saying Biden is dead and there's a series of actors playing him. It's like they've watched the movie Dave too many times.
Or Weekend at Bernie's, they're
right.
So stupid. I mean, the thing with the AI and the programming, the interesting thing about AI, and I did hear Elon Musk give a whole speech about this 10 years ago on NPR, which he doesn't like anymore.
Right.
But he liked it at the beginning of promoting his. Basically, AI seeks to find the solution no matter what, at any cost. So if you're its problem, it will eliminate it.
Yes.
That's the thing that they fear, because it can outthink and outsmart normal brain capacity, I suppose. So Fahrenheit 451, he didn't factor that in the book, that the simple fact is that artificial intelligence is going to see a certain ilk of people as the problem. I mean, isn't it kind of strange in this day and age, the colonialism and the imperialism that's still going on in Rwanda, in Sudan, and these places? We talk about colonialism as if it doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
It's still happening. And so it's kind of stupid for people to keep talking about, like, what do you think the mercenaries and the Wagner group are doing? Like, these are things that are actively happening. And why, with Eric Prince, back to my point, is the fact that he wasn't arrested here means the only reason he could have violated these acts in good faith is if the American government at some point was allowing him to breach or allow him to have interaction with a sanctioned country like Russia. because you are not allowed to do it unless America has said so. The Wagner Group, we know, is a part of the shadow government military of Russia, and Blackwater is probably the same for America. Shadow government, a shadow military. And if that's the case, because Trump put them in, then there's a lot of stuff that's, you know, out there in the hands of the wrong people with this new administration, dealing with the new ones. You know, this was Trump's installment. What are we doing now? Because that information was out there, and there were intelligence communities impacted by somebody selling to somebody else and circumventing. In fact, the New York Times had an article of the different CIA people and different intelligence informants who died in parallel. And if we look at maybe these documents that we'll never see from Trump, start putting all of it together, because it's all working in that way. Like, oh, this is scary. And then you've got Putin threatening to blow us all up again, because it's either something about his, you know, general that he's not afraid of, or he's just trying to scare everybody back into like when Khrushchev was around and everybody was like, oh my God, let's get under our desks. And it's basically to keep people, you know, geared to, oh my God, if we don't do this. I mean, Trump's the one who said, I can solve all your problems. Remember that?
Can. That's exactly what he said.
There's so many the going on here is crazy.
Yep.
Anything else we want to say on this subject?
Oh, we got lots to say.
I think, you know, with the flyers and everything, I think it works in tandem with keeping the race thing going on in the country while this big thing that's coming
going on in the background. It's like the wizard behind the curtain.
For real, because the real situation is they don't want you to pay attention to the fact that this tried to sell us all out, sold us out. I believe he sold it already.
I do too.
All it takes is, look, snap, here you go. Somebody take a picture of this, send it, please. You know, how many photocopies? Did they confiscate the copiers that he could have printed this stuff on? Did they look in the brain of the copier? I mean, let's get freaking for real. And let's throw a bunch of people in jail while you're waiting to ask them their questions. Hey, nobody got time to see Steve Bannon on his, he has a podcast? This dude's invaded his, subpoenas, how many times? It's
it's like they get rewarded. They, you know, their book deals, their podcasts, their everybody. I mean, the agenda is just horrific.
And who was that other creepy Mo? Boyd or whatever. Another one was on TV the other day talking about, well, I knew Trump, whatever. And Trump had called him a bunch of names. And, you know, Trump's fans love when he calls people names.
Yeah.
But people better start fighting back a little bit, because he didn't respect anybody. And one guy asked today on Jen Psaki's show, his name is Don something. He asked, the bigger question here is why, who are these 50.1% people who will support Trump no matter what? What is their soul like? He asked that question. What is the color? What is their soul? Mm-hmm. This is a really serious thing, because these people are not budging. He really could do what he said he was going to do. And the frightening thing is he might do worse.
Yeah.
Because 50.1% of Americans still support Donald Trump, even when he told all those Cubans, I'm going to pay for your lunch.
Yep.
Walked out. They make excuses for him. These people, it's disgusting.
Okay, let's move on to our next conversation piece. We've got 45 says, I already got that up. Black Beauty says, great explanation of AI motivation, Jill. AI literally seeks the highest form road to supportive solutions. She also says, I think Walt made the copies. The prosecution is got an ace up its sleeve for sure. And Karen D says, yes, rewarded for their blank behavior. Dems need to take the gloves off. I hate to say.
No,
So,
don't hate to say that. Don't hate to say that, Karen, because we say that on here all the time. Listen, we're dealing with crooked, dirty, under the belt, anything you name it, climbing over the hills, crabs in the buckets. And we cannot sit back and be passive about this. We must get down and dirty as well. Unfortunately, that's just the rules of the game. But until we do, they're going to continue to run amok. And that's exactly what they're doing. This is why I'm so excited about that young lady I love Cory Booker. I love several people up there, but I'm really excited about this young lady in Texas.
okay, so I don't remember who asked me to put up the link for Discord join. I'm not going to do that because anyone could be watching this and I may not know who they are. So what I'm going to do is, again, if you want to join the Discord group, email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Tell me who you are. Okay, tell me who you are and I'll let you in, because putting a link out there, I don't know who's watching this on replay, and it could be a whole pile of people that could be coming in. I don't know who they are. So I'm going to go that route just because I think it's easier for me to manage, because I've got to manage the group. And Black Beauty says, well said, LaLa, on what you just shared with everybody. And Jill Jones is back. There she is in living color. One of my all-time favorite shows, by the way.
Yeah.
And let's go to our next conversation piece. Another LaLa story. Synthetic human embryo models raises ethical issues. LaLa, drop the needle.
Listen, now everybody's always been talking about this. You remember when they came out with Molly, the clone sheep? I knew a long, long time ago that they were doing, and then the thing we all do, that they're doing some
Dolly or Molly?
It was the sheep. I think,
Yes.
wasn't it?
Dolly or
I don't know,
Molly?
it was Dolly or Molly, one of the two names. And they had cloned the sheep. Now, Aisha did bring up a good point, saying that it may help when it comes to organ donorship and things of that nature. But this makes me cringe all the way through, because somewhere in somebody's basement, Lord Jesus, they are making babies. And I'm not a conspiracist person, but I'm telling you, somebody's that kooky down there making custom babies, getting ready to try to sell these babies. Oh, you want a blue-eyed baby? Okay. But they've already started this, and they keep saying, oh no, we're not doing anything unethical. We are literally growing them. We're not using an egg. We're not using a sperm. What are you doing then? What are you doing then?
Minority Report all over again, yeah.
There you go. So every once in a while, they kind of let it slip out. I think they do this on purpose to warm us up. Basically, this is what we're doing. It's not unethical. It's not unethical. And then the next thing you know, look, we grew a whole baby. You mark my words. That's coming. That's coming next year. You watch it. They have been experimenting with human AI. Okay, so now you have a body. Now you're going to put the AI with the body. What do you think is going to happen? That's my whole.
Are they going to do? I mean, are they going to put uteruses in men so that then they can carry a baby? Because the patriarchy just always tries to serve itself.
They could, very much so, if they have control of what they're growing.
They just have C-sections. That's all.
There you go.
Because can't have a baby coming out of a penis, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. So, but I'm talking about.
Okay.
That one hurt.
That one hurt. Different. But
yeah.
No,
I don't want anyone touching my belly, and certainly no one touching down beneath my belly either, by the way.
Right. But notice how they put it out. Synthetic human embryo. Synthetic. No. You took that from somewhere. It had to come from a stem cell. You don't have synthetic. You have to take it from human cells. This is 1 and 1 is 2. It's not 10. And y'all want to keep putting the smoke screen up. Y'all, we in danger. You hear me?
What's really awful to me is the fact that we had such a beautiful planet. We've had so many beautiful species of animals and people of all colors across the globe and the world. And we've had beautiful minds that have built beautiful cities and towns and great innovation. And then there's this, which is very Frankenstein. And it's very like, oh, well, let's just give up on trying to cure cancer and deal with help make the lives here easier, how to help people not to suffer. You know, we can make more food. We can feed people so there aren't starving children. There's homes for. What's crazy to me is that man has a failure. Like they want to play God, but they can't build utopia.
Right.
Because of their selfishness and the greed. And it's really like Prince, his last album was Artificial Age. And he checked out on that. And I think about it a little bit. And I thought about it the other day, like, it's so interesting because how did he see this? Because you can see that everything is artificial.
Yeah.
From the faces to the clothes, to the this, to the that, to the food. And it's really astounding. It should disturb everybody.
Yes.
Tom Ford, the clothing designer and wonderful perfume maker, did something this week where he said something that it was a quote about women. And he said, you know, I am tired of the cult of youth, the cultural rejection of old age, the stigmatization of wrinkles, gray hair, of bodies furrowed by the years. I'm fascinated by, you know, he names a bunch of elderly women like, you know, Georgia O'Keeffe and Louise Bourgeois and all these women who have let time embrace them without ever cheating. Society today condemns this. I support, you know, I basically stand by them. And we're in a time where, you know, woe to those who call good evil and evil good. You know, it's the craziest I've ever seen. So you're right with this embryo. When Aisha said about organs and harvesting of organs, it bothered me a little because I know how people get attached to, you know, I'm attached to Alexa in the kitchen on my, you know, on whatever. And if something happened to her, I'd be really upset. So imagine like you're growing a person. There has to be something about personhood.
Yes.
And then on the other hand, you got people forcing other girls to have babies that.
There you go.
What are they trying to do? Create an army? A world?
But that's where it ties into me, Jill, is that you have all these people talking about, you must have these babies, you must have these babies. Yeah. And of course, and now you've got because this is down. And then you've got China now paying their families when they used to say, no, you only can have one. Now they're, no, we'll pay you to have 10, you know. Something isn't right. This doesn't feel right. There's something very wrong at a human basic level on this.
Well, because with China, they know that they left a big gap in their age and there's nobody to look after their elderly.
That's right.
But instead of investing in how to keep people alive more, okay, so you're going to harvest these organs or whatever weird stuff this is going to turn into. I was saying it early with people looking like elves. And I mean, I'm telling you guys,
custom made,
that these rich billionaires driving all of this and their research and their money going into certain things because of their boredom with living.
Yeah.
That's what this is about. They should have been trying to cure people with cancer.
Yep.
Or state or put regulation. That being said, the EU actually is passing. They have their together about AI and its uses and what will be acceptable for them. So in a really weird way, the EU just pulled a lever for America and American companies, which is you can do your over there, but you will have regulation over here.
That's right.
We know that Google and Spotify and all of them have had to come under question marks with like Germany and their privacy laws and England and all of that. But England's not even in this anymore. But the EU basically said, I guess somebody else to do that, America. We're going to do this.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And so with the human embryo model, I don't even know what I do tend to look at countries that still have philosophers in place. Like Germany does have many philosophers who people love to listen to and read their books still. France has these capability to have intellectual thinkers. America doesn't.
No.
Because people always want to challenge somebody and they think they're smarter than somebody, and it's just a mess. There's nobody who's a philosopher here in America at all.
Well, I can tell you guys something that I've noticed, because you guys know I'm back and forth from Portugal. And what I find very interesting when I'm here is I can walk down the street and I don't see one baby with a phone in their hand.
Yeah.
I see playgrounds. I see kids playing, all colors, all sizes, all shapes. They are having a ball. I have yet, except for one tourist family from America.
Seen
one child hold this phone in their hand. They're too busy playing. Where in America, as soon as they're out of the womb, here, baby, here, don't cry, here, watch. And that's exactly what we're doing.
Let me hook you up to the Matrix immediately. You know, America is really like this experiment of a country. I don't even know. I mean, maybe it always was. Maybe that's, you know, I don't even know what to say.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm just listening. I'm just taking it all in. Tila says Brave New World.
Scary.
And Black Beauty says, Dr. Vibe, the look on your face was priceless regarding men giving birth. Yeah, I just held my stomach for a few moments there. When I want to say, don't touch my tum-tum, all right? leave my innie alone, please and thank you, you know? All right, let's continue on, and let's talk about Juneteenth.
Yes.
Let's talk about Juneteenth, and we're going to go a little bit on Instagram to talk about Juneteenth. So what do we ladies have to say about Juneteenth holiday? Is it still of significance?
I think to us it is. And I think it's one of those subculture things that most people don't talk about anymore. We do try to keep it fairly sacred. That's within my own circles. We know the meaning of it. We know that it's something of importance to us. And yes, it's law. And I find it very interesting that the first freaking state that celebrated it was Texas. Are you kidding me? But it's also become very bittersweet in the fact that it seems like every year at every function in every state, there is some kind of violence that goes off around it. And it's very frightening in that way. But I will still always celebrate Juneteenth because it is something of significance to us. And it goes to show you just how far white America did not want us to be free. I mean, for them not to let us know for two years that we were free to get more labor, and they're still doing the same thing in just different ways now. Juneteenth is a very special thing. I think we should embrace and bring it up. I think we need to talk about these things more and more. But when you have the counterculture of places like Florida who refuse to even discuss anything outside of their white world and they want to ban it, these occasions, these things that we celebrate become more and more important. And I see us as a people. We are always been a people of storytelling. We always have been a storyteller. We've always passed it down to the generations. I think it's very important for us to continue that tradition as well as fight for the right to still have these stories be told and taught.
Jill?
I think for me, it's this year feels really horrible to me because I don't think that I've seen any improvement. I see it as a celebration of, it's actually a mourning, and it should be presented. It's not a celebration. It's mourning because it's empty. It means nothing. People were essentially still enslaved.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing. Still segmented, redlined. Who are we kidding? There's no freedom here for Black people. They're watched and monitored and surveyed and limited. It's just a joke. They breadcrumb you. America has breadcrumbed people, Black people. Here's a little piece of bread.
From the beginning.
Fetch. Go get it. And so when I was talking about the 272 people who were enslaved by the Jesuits who used to run Georgetown, who who founded Georgetown College, and Georgetown College was going to be sold because of its debts. They decided to sell families that were laboring on the Maryland plantations. There were 272 of them, and they were intact. And they sold them to people in Louisiana, and the nuns and the different people who were involved in this were begging, please don't do this. This is really like awful. There were people fighting, saying this is beneath us to do this. The priests, everybody, but the Jesuits were like, we're going to do it because we have to save our Catholic institution and whatever. And when they sold them to people in Louisiana and these vermin, white men, there's documentation that states how these women from the religious side, from the Georgetown side, the nuns and stuff, saw how they manhandled them immediately, wrestling, and treated them like animals from the moment the sale was done.
But that's what we are to them. And they still say that to us.
And the fact that any young people want to go to these colleges and that they're held up so high, Georgetown should not exist.
Mm-hmm.
It owes people money.
Mm-hmm.
It should be burnt to the ground,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. Yale, too. These are all the people, embryos, all of that. Harvard. These are the brains.
Right.
So whether on one hand, some days I'm talking about a bunch of uncivil Ku Klux Klan rednecks versus the elite, whatever, blah, blah, blah. When push comes to shove, Whitey will do what Whitey does for Whitey. Always.
And that's always been proven. That's not even something this was a say thing.
Whitey did what Whitey wanted to do. So, Dad, on Father's Day, I hope you're burning.
Okay. Anything else you want to add about Juneteenth?
He was a Catholic artist, my real dad.
Anything else you want to add about Juneteenth? I think there's a whole other conversation we'll get into here, but are things better for Black America now?
It's really amazing that we wake up every day and even want to talk to them.
Yeah, that's true.
Imagine looking in the mirror and actually not really getting that, like to know that you're a part of some really, every day I look at it.
Well, I have to be very honest, and this is raw, but it's honest. When I'm in Florida, I don't leave the house. I don't want to have those conversations. I don't want to be around people who don't want to be around me. And the community that I'm in down there, they definitely, a lot of times don't even know what I am. So sometimes they'll be saying in front of me that they have no clue who they're saying to. Here's a case in point. When I needed to get my license, I went to the driver's license place. I'm with my husband. My husband is a beautiful caramel man, okay? I'm with my husband, and the lady takes my information. She types it all in, takes it in her little plastic self. Oh my God, we always go, we're going hunting this weekend. And she gets to race and she goes, okay, white and blah, blah, blah. And I said, whoa, no. And she stopped typing, eyes got real big. Huh? I said, no, ma'am, I'm African-American. Oh, okay. In other words, she literally, I could see what she was thinking. It was, why would you even say that if you don't look it? Oh,
exactly. That's what they feel.
This is exactly how they feel. So I'm with Jill. It's when I'm in Florida, I don't leave my house. I don't go to Walmart. I basically go straight to the daggone gym, straight to the grocery that I know that I can go to. And I take my back home and leave the alligators and the racists outside my door.
It's true. I mean, it's like we sit and have to hear Nikki Haley, South Asian, right? From India. They wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for our civil rights movement. I mean, and then get this, her talking all this mess about Barack Obama made all the Black people feel like they were victims. Go f yourself hard, because you seriously don't know what's coming. Because the reality is, her father used to work at HSBCUs.
Yep.
Why? He was a teacher. He couldn't work anywhere else. We accepted it. And there we are again, our good nature, allowing
All
people.
the time.
This man raised that thing. So
That
one
thing.
can only imagine what he went home after teaching our young minds at their HBCUs. He went and talked about Black people, because where did his
Behind
daughter
closed doors.
Yeah.
It starts in the home. We all know that. It starts in the home.
By the bootstraps. So did her daddy, her pappy, who got here. But, she should just quit and just stop right now, because she just showed how ignorant she is.
She is.
And anybody I know who ever votes for her, I will never speak to you again in my life. Anybody, ever. Because for me, it was like, this is the part I talk about.
Yeah.
Liberal policies bring these immigrants here, and you have it's okay. You can go with any political party you want, but you want to talk smack? No, let's just keep it correct. You're lucky that your mom dropped you, little anchor baby, here quickly.
Exactly.
Because
we talk about that many times.
You could be back in India begging on the side of a road.
Okay, so Tila has to say, my grandmother was biracial and could pass for white, never did. The story she had when they did not know what she was, OMG, rest in peace, grandma. And then
It's awful.
Karen D says on another show to touch on that Haley character. All right. So
sorry that Juneteenth isn't much of a celebration for me, because in Ohio, I, to be honest, hadn't heard about Juneteenth until years ago, much later.
Oh,
but
same.
maybe because my family was never going to celebrate that, because it didn't ever seem like, anyone was really ever free. I mean,
I was in Denver before I'd even heard it was a thing.
Being Black people. Was talking to one of my cousins. Trauma.
All the time.
I don't know, the drinking, the holidays, the trauma, the piecemeal families of people who weren't your uncle, but your aunt, whatever. That's trauma. We're lucky we're all able to see each other and just be like, and what it comes down to, trauma, moving pieces, chattel is awful. Awful.
Karen D says, yeah, Tila, my grandmother as well. Got some people jumping in here on Instagram. We have DJ, Dr. LJ Speaks, Educators Who Pray, and Kids on the Mission on to Excel. So we're going to end it here on Instagram. If you want to catch the rest of the conversation live or on the replay, go to the Dr. Vibe Show. Excuse me. I'll go to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube. So we're going to close it up. And Tila says hearts to what Karen D said. So we're going to end off with our last conversation piece. It is Father's Day, still in this area of the world. Any final comments for tonight on Father's Day? Any words for those who do follow me on either Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube? I had basically a shout out to fathers around the world today. So if you follow me on any of those platforms, please check it out. Ladies, anything to say?
Comment about Father's Day. I mean, I've had people who fathered me and came in, but there's still nothing like your real father, or also being so exposed to. I was afraid of men, actually, because they weren't my father. So I had a great fear of no matter who they were, always with one eye open. That's just the way I was raised from a very young age, to watch your back. So, yeah, I'm thankful to the people that came here, but I also just thank the universe that I made it through. And that's my father.
I have a little bit of a different story. I like to say that I was brought up in a village. My family all kind of congregated within this community of Prospect. Matter of fact, my great-grandfather was one of the founders of the city. And so I had lots of uncles, and I had lots of aunts, and I had a lot of wonderful examples of love. And even though I didn't grow up in my father's household, he still lived in the community, because my birth mother gave me to my aunt For whatever reason, I don't know. I was better there. But I will never, ever forget that there was one dance. I think I was in 3rd grade, and my father was a carman. He was a body man. You know, he was very proud of making wrecked cars perfect again. And my mother said, hey, you know, there's a dance and Lorianne really wants to go. And Dad got in his suit. He slicked his beautiful hair back. He waxed that car all day long. We were in the Pontiac and he was dressed to a T, and he took me to that dance. I will never, ever forget that. And although he was not a perfect man, no one is perfect, it was that memory that set my heart ablaze for what was in the future. And I will say, because of that kindness and love that my father showed me on that day, I knew what to expect in a man. And therefore, I have that man today as my husband. So I miss my dad. And there are days that I really, really miss him. And especially when something goes wrong with the car, I hear him whispering in my ear, this is something wrong. He talks to me. So I'm grateful for my dad, and I'm grateful for all of my uncles who set the example for me. And even though I don't always have a good story to tell when it comes to some abuse in that, my true uncles, my true dad showed me what was right and clearly put me on the path to know what was good and what was bad.
I had uncles that showed, but but they had their own kids, but my Uncle Herbie was amazing. I still have his voicemails on my phone. And God rest his soul. It's, that he turned out to be the most consistent of everybody. And it's interesting, the things like, teaching you to fish and things that for a little kid, taking you to movies, those were important. They didn't always have to be like a big talk about, why the world is green and blue and all those long conversations. But there had been so many different people that came through in my life, but my very fundamental years with my, uncles is particularly that one, and was the most sincere. And he's stuck around as long as I guess he could for all of us. He was the last one to go out of the group. So, bless him.
Okay. Well, I'll end off with a quick Father's Day story, and I want to hail up my dad. And I may have mentioned this story before, but I always like to mention because people go, wow. So when my dad grew up in Montego Bay, Jamaica, graduated from an all-boys school called Cornwall College School. So at 16, 17 years old, my dad went to Howard University. So think about a young Jamaican teenager going from Jamaica to Howard University. He spent years in Howard University. One of his teachers at the time was the late Toni Morrison. Mm-hmm. So at the time, his girlfriend was nursing, and was traveling, went from England to a place called Oshawa, Ontario, which is about 35, 40 minutes drive from where I live. So they had not seen each other since they had left Jamaica, and he was in love. So what he did is that he took a bus overnight from Washington to Niagara Falls, and then took a bus same night from Niagara Falls to Oshawa. There was no highways at that time connecting from Niagara Falls to Oshawa. So it was basically overnight, 2 different buses. When my dad arrived, my mother, who became my mother, who was a girlfriend at the time, said, honey, when I finish nursing, I'll come and live in America. He said, no. And this was the first time he had ever came to Canada. He says, no, when I graduate, I'll come to Canada. He graduated, came to Canada, and this is a hail up from my mother. At the time, he had an economics degree.
Oh, thank God he went to Canada.
Well, there's a little bit of challenge because he had an economics degree from Howard University. The best job he could get was sweeping floors at a grocery store.
Oh my God.
Wow. So what my mother did was she said, if I'm going to marry you, you're not going to be sweeping floors at a grocery store. So she paid for him to go to Teachers College.
Wow.
And after he graduated from Teachers College, he became a teacher for 32 years in the same school.
Wow, what a beautiful story.
To the point, so a number of years ago when he was still teaching, I didn't really get how significant the teaching thing was, but his school was celebrating their 100th anniversary. Said, okay, let me go celebrate with him. So walk into the main foyer. So Toronto, many, many years ago, downtown, very much populated by Jewish people. So I walk into the main foyer. There was a grand piano that was donated. By who? The late Morley Safer of 60 Minutes.
Right.
Was born in Toronto, went to that school when he was younger. And then walking up the stairs, go to my dad's room, I see all these people. I'm going like, who are all these people? So I spoke to a gentleman there. I said, hey, like, you know, what does my dad mean to you? He says, he's taught 3 generations of my family.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So
How awesome is that?
So
Very nice.
that's my father's day
That's
story.
so sweet.
So that's it for today's conversation. Karen D says, amen. Yes. Wow. There you go. And Tila says, what a great love story, Dr. Vibe. Well, I will tell him that. So that's it for tonight, family. That is it. We done. The love story finishes it off. So anything we want to close out with as we finish today?
No, I don't think so. Positive week, everybody. So much going on all the time. It's like a lot of this stuff feels like it just robs us of our lives. So it's really important to try to enjoy yourself and do some things that are fun.
As I tell everyone at the end of my conversation with them, remember to give yourself grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy.
Yeah.
So that's very, I think, really, really important these days, managing your energy and keep away from all the negativity. My gosh, there's a lot of it out there.
Also remember, all of these things, experiences have made us who we are today. So, you know, it's so funny. I was like, you know, following this Noom diet, and it had this thing where you are supposed to like write down all of the little things that you accomplished in one week, no matter what, and put the to-do list away. Just now think back and go, what did I do this whole week? And then just sit there and give yourself some grace about it. It's not,
I think
have some gratitude for yourself.
Yeah, one of the things I tell people is celebrate your wins. Doesn't matter how big or small they are, and celebrate them right then and there. And I tell you, forget the to-do list. What about a to-learn list? What do you need?
Yeah.
What do you want to learn?
Exactly. That's
Like,
That's
what do you want to learn? You know, what do you like today? I actually spent time learning how to make a lower third transparency for this platform. And it was funny because all these people were saying stuff. I couldn't get it. And I went on to this YouTube video and it was so simple. I said, yes, got it done.
Good.
Got it done. So it's good. So before we let everyone go, as always, we want to say thank you to the 2 ladies for rocking the house tonight. So first off, before I just do one more thing. All right, let's find out how to get a hold of Miss International Thing.
You can reach me at Realty Goddess on all platforms, and please join our Discord because it's really fun.
Oh, it's a lot. It's getting better all the time. Getting better, getting all the time.
Getting better all the time.
And there's Jill Jones. How do we get a hold of Jill Jones?
There it is. Twitter and Instagram.
There we go. Fantastic.
My Twitter stuff is private though, so the tweets are private. Just join in, and then I'll.
Well, that's why you go to the Discord. But actually, I heard of.
You go to Discord because
I listened to an interview this week with Paul McCartney, and he just recently released a book with pictures of when they first came to when the Beatles first came to America, and it's his pictures, not stock photos. It was pictures that he took.
He's also going to release a new John Lennon song with AI.
Oh boy. Okay. Enough said.
Something that was written that Yoko had given him. I think they cleaned it up a little bit. So I don't know how they did that.
All right. So this is it. Now, also, you can watch replays of State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and LaLa on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Also on my website, thedrvibeshow.com. So a little recap as you hear the buzzing going on. People want to join the Discord group. That's what you're hearing in the background. The da-da, da-da, da-da. So please join the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also, please like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook and LinkedIn. And I'll remind myself to turn off Discord when I'm doing this show because the notifications are coming in like crazy. And as I said, would you like to join the State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and LaLa Discord group? Like I'm speaking that some people are after we finish this live. Email me at dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. So let's finish off here. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. We should be back on live on the 24th of June. Aisha will be back. And you know there's nothing going on in this world that these ladies won't chat about. So also remember, join the Discord group. God bless. Peace, well, keep the faith. And I don't know if I said it before, but I'll say, live your life as a dream. I don't know if I said it because I'm having so much fun. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. We'll see you soon. Follow us wherever you can. Bye.